As soon as I hit go live, I get the text from my daughter. Can we renew my registration tonight? Yes, we can. It's 5 o'clock on Wednesday. You know what I'm doing right now. I'm good. All right. Welcome to the Live at 5. If you are new to the Live at 5, I just want you to know that there is probably a rotation of 10 videos that I do with all of the information that you need to heal. So when you're popping on, let's say you're new and you're hearing one of the topics and you're like, oh, well, how does this fit in? Don't worry about it. Just keep showing up Wednesdays at 5 o'clock Eastern time, because you're going to get plugged into that cycle. And as long as you keep coming around, you'll eventually complete the loop and you'll hear all of the information. So right now, jumping into a Live at 5, you're going to be like, well, where does this piece of the puzzle fit? Just keep grabbing pieces of the puzzle and you'll see how it all comes together. Plus, you have a great group of people in Minding Your Soul here. Just ask questions, post them, and people have been in here for years. They're healing. They have so much advice to offer you. So feel free, if you're new, to just ask questions. Today we are talking about how the body heals, why the body can always heal, and how you're never too old, too far gone. I get that question. Probably it's the most asked question. Am I too old to heal? Am I too far gone? Have I had it for too long? And the short answer is no. If you're still alive, you're going to heal. The basics around healing the body, whether we're talking about a paper cut or we're talking about an autoimmune disease, it's just about removing pathogens, removing blockages so that your body can do what it needs to do. You don't have to turn on any kind of healing switch in your body. All you have to do is remove the blockages that are preventing the healing from happening. We're now in 2024, now we know what those blockages are. We know it's a virus, we know what it's called, and now we know how to kill it. So we're getting a lot closer to people not having to live decades with these symptoms before they learn how to heal their bodies. They're going to get to the point where I'm at now. That took me, we're going on 20 years now. It took me this long to figure out, oh, I'm feeling something. Okay, I got to up my whatever, my celery juice, my boundaries. Got to up something. I'm not paying attention to something. So now if I start getting like a little numbness in the toes, I'll go, what am I not paying attention to? My toes now are the red flag. The red flag that is saying you're out of alignment either with your physical health or with your mental health. And it's up to you to know the difference. Your symptoms, once you're healed, you're never going to get rid of all your symptoms all the time, because we're human and we have viruses in us and they affect us different ways. You will get rid of all of your symptoms, but they're going to rear their heads slightly. And you're going to use that, you're going to be grateful for it, and you're going to use it as information to let you know that you've gotten off course, that you are in need of getting back in alignment. Now that we know that MS is just a collection of symptoms that they have named, and those symptoms are coming from the Epstein-Barr virus. Once we remove the Epstein-Barr virus from our body is able to heal. The healing process takes a long time, depending on how much you know about the virus, how much you know about what it feels like to heal from a virus, and how much you believe healing can happen. Those components are probably the most important, because you can talk about your mental health and you can talk about your physical health the same way. It is the blockage that is preventing the healing. The healing always wants to happen. So think about a paper cut. A paper cut is going to heal. My husband gets these, his skin just cracks open because he works outside. So when it's really cold and dry, his skin will crack, and it won't heal unless he keeps the Neosporin on it. He has to keep it moist. And if you guys are not familiar with Neosporin, it's just the brand name of an ointment. It's an antibiotic ointment that you put on. It keeps it moist, it keeps a good layer on there, and it kills all the germs, right? So it prevents the pathogens from getting in. It kills the pathogens that are already in there so it doesn't get affected. And it keeps it moist so that the cells can regenerate and it can heal. That's what we're doing when we're killing a virus. We are removing the virus from our body. We're preventing it from getting back into our bodies, and we're keeping our bodies moist so that it can heal. The thing that I always do in the beginning of our protocol, it's always the lemon water. Most of you already know this. The lemon water, within 2 weeks of starting the lemon water, that brain fog is gone and the clarity comes back. Maybe not 100% gone, but let's say at least 50% better when you start the lemon water protocol. That is because your body cannot operate without moisture. Moisture, that's all it is. It has to be moist enough for things to flow and go where they need to go. What we're going to focus on today is, why can your body heal from MS symptoms? First, you have to know why you're having MS symptoms. Multiple sclerosis was given its name, multiple sclerosis. Sclerosis is the Latin word for scars. That's all it is. You have multiple scars. That's all it is. They couldn't name it properly because they didn't know what was causing it. The medical industry is still kind of like on the fence about acknowledging or admitting that the Epstein-Barr virus is responsible for it. Harvard produced studies. The Mayo Clinic finally has it on their website that Epstein-Barr could be the reason why you have MS. They're also now saying that almost everybody, I don't think they gave a percentage, but they're saying almost everybody with MS has the Epstein-Barr virus inside of them. That's why I want to focus today on what the Epstein-Barr virus is, so that you can understand what's been going on since before you got diagnosed. You don't have to do this protocol perfectly in order for it to work. In fact, if you stress yourself out every day about lemon water, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie, gluten-free, dairy-free, the stress that you put yourself under is not going to, you're not going to get the results from the protocol because of the stress that you're under. I want you to understand something. I don't think I'm the least disciplined person on earth, but I am definitely not a type A person. I don't need things to be like this all the time. I like creating. I like going with the flow. I'm not your average type A disciplined person. If I had to be, I don't think I would have ever healed. The way you do this protocol is you fit the protocol into your life, whatever life that may be, whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter how unstructured you are, how undisciplined you are, because that's just your judgment. You're not undisciplined. You just don't like to do things A, B, and C. There is nothing wrong with you. You're just comparing yourself to either somebody that you live with, somebody that you saw on TV, or a family member that said you should be like this instead of like this. There's nothing wrong with you. So if you're a type A, B, or C, if you're disciplined, if you're not disciplined, you're still going to heal on this protocol. So if you didn't have celery juice today, oh fucking well, don't worry about it. Did you get some lemon water in? Did you get a piece of fruit in? Great. You don't have to be so crazy all the time. In fact, I tell you that you're not going to heal as quickly as you could if you make yourself crazy trying to stay disciplined on the protocol. The reason why we have MS symptoms is because we have the Epstein-Barr virus. And if you're thinking, well, I've never had the Epstein-Barr virus, you do, you just didn't know it. Because 95% of the people in the world have the Epstein-Barr virus inside of them. However, because there are over 65 different strains of the virus that range from extremely mild to extremely aggressive, you might not even know you have the Epstein-Barr virus inside of you. And even though stage 2, this hair is driving me nuts. And even though stage 2 of the virus is mono, and you're saying, well, I never had mono before, you know what? Sometimes you don't know that you had the mono because you have such a mild strain of the virus that the mono that you had, you probably just thought you had allergies or a cold one week, and it never took you to the doctor. The best way to find out, if you want to find out, is just go to the doctor and get a blood test. Ask them to test you for the antibodies. Here, let's go through the stages. Stage 1 of the virus, you come in contact with someone who's contagious, who has active symptoms, whether they know it or not. It gets into your saliva, bloodstream, so many different ways to get in. Now you've contracted it, it's inside your body, but you don't know that you have it. This is the weakest point of the virus and when it absolutely can be killed, but because you don't know it, you're not actively trying to kill the virus. And plus, the American diet, just any crappy diet in general, is going to feed that virus feverishly. So, stage 1 of the virus, you've contracted it, you don't know you have it. The virus is going around your body, getting a lay of the land, going, okay, what do we got here? Where's the food? It's in your bloodstream right now, and it's going, okay, what hormones are here? How much of this is here? What's going on? What's her daily life like? What's the hormone output like? That's stage 1. You don't know you have it. It is waiting for you to become highly stressed in order for it to launch its attack. No, it's not conscious. No, it doesn't have logic, but it detects your hormone output. The stress hormones are a huge food source for the virus. So when you're under an immense amount of stress, or you don't allow yourself to heal or rest from a cold, and since we're talking to mostly all women here, so I'm not saying it's just women, but I'm saying it's the type of personalities who have to take care of everything because nobody else will. And I'm not calling you a victim. I was the same way. I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to get it done. No one's going to do it right, or no one's going to do it at all, or it's just me and 2 little kids and there's no one else to do it. Would I like to spend another week resting in bed because I was just sick? Yeah, absolutely, but I can't because I have 2 little kids and I have a full-time job. When the virus is inside of your body and it's getting a lay of the land, it's waiting for that hormonal output to let it know that you were under an immense amount of stress, and then the virus goes, if it could talk, it goes, she's weak, and there's an abundance of food here. Now's the time to attack. Were you experiencing a particularly stressful event in your life, either when you first started experiencing symptoms or right before you were diagnosed? Because for a lot of us, we were experiencing symptoms for a while but didn't go to the doctor. And then others got symptoms and then immediately went to the doctor and immediately got a diagnosis. So let's say right as you were experiencing symptoms, or right before you went to the doctor to get your diagnosis, were you experiencing a particularly stressful event in your life, whether it was a death in the family, a really traumatic breakup, menopause, puberty, childbirth, any of those things? It doesn't have to be just emotionally stressful, because what the virus does in stage 1, as it's getting the lay of the land in your body, it waits for that event to know that you're weak as hell. And then we wonder why our body's breaking down, because we don't give it what it needs, because we can't, either because we don't have the means to do it, or we were never taught how to do it, or we just don't think we're important enough to do it. This healing thing, I'm going to give you a little clue as to what's to come on later events. It's not just physical. We're going to clean out your physical body, and I'm going to teach you right now why your body has the symptoms it has. But then we have to clean out this, because it's not just the pathogens in our physical body. It is the pathogens that we have allowed into our brain that we also have to clear out so that the healing can happen. My onset was extreme and very bad. Got diagnosed 3 months after. Woke up with my right side numb and tingly, and then it got worse from there. Yeah, how many of you, right side numb and tingly? It was my right leg, numb and tingly. I thought maybe, I just kind of hurt myself in the back maybe. The chiropractor's like, no, you need a neurologist. So when we're going through that very traumatic experience in our life, the virus goes, perfect time to attack. And it goes on the attack. Now remember, over 65 different strains of the virus, from very mild to very aggressive. So depending on what strain of the virus you have, stage 2, when the virus launches its attack, you're going to get symptoms. You're either going to get, from the very mild strain, symptoms of a cold, or allergies, or a scratchy throat, or you're going to get something more like me and some of the others in the group, full-blown mono. They're going to put you in the hospital for 2 weeks, or you're not going to get diagnosed with mono, but they're going to say, we don't know what the hell's wrong with you. We realize you can't lift your head off of that bed and you have 0 energy. The only thing that we see is your white blood count is through the roof, and we don't understand why, because we can't find the infection. Back in the day, they used to keep you in the hospital for 2 weeks, or I think I was 2 weeks, week and a half, whatever it took, on an IV bed. These days, my daughter got mono twice. No hospital visit. No, they were just like, yep, that's mono, go home, drink a lot of fluids. But her throat swelled up so much, she couldn't drink a lot of fluids or any fluids, so we ended up back in the hospital for an IV because she was so dehydrated. Yeah, my daughter and my son both have mono. We actually pass it through the birth canal to our children, so how it manifests in their body, it doesn't have to be MS, it doesn't have to be an autoimmune disease. We'll see, because now we understand in this family what happens. They have the Epstein-Barr virus, so my daughter, this is going to be a really good experiment situation, because my daughter has gone gluten-free, dairy-free. She's vegetarian. Not that I'm not saying you have to be vegetarian. I'm certainly not. She wanted to be. So she's gluten-free, dairy-free, and she's a vegetarian. We know she has the Epstein-Barr virus in her, so she's 18. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of years in her life. And she also understands the importance of managing her emotional and mental health. My son, however, is 22 years old. He's also had mono. He is the opposite of gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. In fact, he eats all fast food, drinks soda. I cringe every time I see him putting anything into his mouth. And so we will see what happens in the next couple of years. One is managing the Epstein-Barr virus, and one is absolutely not. But he's male, she's female, so this is going to be very interesting. All right, so that's stage 2, mono. You either get diagnosed with it or you don't. You either know you have it or you don't. Stage 3 is where it gets interesting. Stage 3 is where the virus goes, your bloodstream sucks, lady. I'm leaving here. There's no food here, and all the immune system fighters are in here. I'm getting out of here. And guess what? It heads for an organ. Most viruses, the flu, COVID, doesn't leave your bloodstream. This smart, nasty-ass fucker, excuse my language, just tell me if you have kids in if you have kids in the room, put your headphones in, because I can't not. It slips out. This nasty virus leaves the bloodstream, unlike any other virus that we know of, and heads for an organ. The organ it chooses is going to depend on how much food is inside that organ. I just got a text. I'm sure it's not my daughter. No, it's not. Okay. It was my old neighbor telling me about the people who had just bought my house and how freaking loud they were. Where the virus decides to live is determined by how much food, what kind of food source you have in your body. So for us diagnosed with MS, our liver, our kidneys, our spleen, great food sources. And the virus goes, that's great. I'm going to go take up residence there because look at all that food there. Most of us have very dirty livers through no fault of our own. We were never taught how to clean out our liver. So that's why we got diagnosed with MS, because that gave us a certain set of symptoms that took us to the doctor. Now, if you have thyroidism, hypo, Hashimoto's, if your virus decided to live in your thyroid, if the virus decided to live in your gut lining, depending on the strain, whether it's aggressive or very mild, you're either going to get diagnosed with IBS or Crohn's disease. Do you see how where the virus decided to live in your body is going to give you that collection of symptoms that takes you to the doctor? The doctor's going to say, we've named this collection of symptoms. It's actually under the umbrella of autoimmune disease, and your specific symptoms are called multiple sclerosis. Oh, you're like, okay, great, what do I do about that? And they're like, no, nothing. There's nothing you can do about it, but you shoot yourself up with drugs for the rest of your life because we don't know what's causing it. What do you mean you don't know what's causing it? What is my body doing? Well, your body's attacking itself. How is that even possible? The body can't attack itself. Well, it appears that's what it's doing. Because what they saw on the test, the only instrument that is available to see inside the body, whether it's a CT or an MRI, it only sees tissue and bone. It doesn't actually see what the immune system is attacking. So you know the contrast, the gadolinium? That is going to highlight the activity of the immune system. So what they saw was the immune system on the attack. And then they saw myelin over here, right? Myelin, the white, we all know what myelin is. We all know what myelin is. So here's the myelin, let's say, and here's the activity of your immune system. And your immune system sees food. It's not the myelin that it sees. It sees the heavy metals that are residing on the myelin. This is why we have the lesions, just a scary word for scars. This is why we have the scars on our brains, because the immune system saw the virus The virus saw the heavy metal on the myelin, and the immune system went, listen, fucker, you're not supposed to be here, let's go. And it starts attacking the virus. But the MRI, the only thing that the doctor can use to see what's going on inside your body, only sees the immune system and the myelin. It can't see the heavy metals and the Epstein-Barr virus residing on top of the heavy metals. All it sees is the attack. It doesn't see what the actual immune system is attacking. And this is what causes the lesions and the scars, because that heavy metal that's sitting on there, forget the virus for a second, the heavy metals alone that are sitting on the myelin are, what do they call it, oxidative stress. Read about the oxidative stress. What the hell is oxidative stress? It's rust. That's what it is. It's rusting. So the heavy metals are oxidizing the myelin. The myelin is rusting. When something rusts, there's no moisture left in it, right? It's corroding. There's no moisture. When there's no moisture, the signal can't be conducted. The signal that's leaving your brain and going down to your right foot, it can't be conducted because now you have rust, corrosion. The myelin isn't, I used to say, picture this, a cord. And the nerves are the wire inside, and the myelin is the white rubber coating around the nerves. This isn't actually what it looks like, though. Picture Tic Tacs that are covering the nerves. So it's not smooth like this. So when a Tic Tac, the myelin, gets corroded, rusts, the signal is jumping. I need 2 more hands here and not a white shirt. This signal is jumping along the Tic Tacs. If one of those Tic Tacs is corroded, the signal is going to stop and it's going to go, ah, shit, now where do I go? And it's going to need to take a detour and jump to another myelin sheath, which is another rope of Tic Tacs. I gotta make myself some visual aids. Getting your body to jump the signals from where the corrosion is to another non-corroded myelin piece can be done. It absolutely can be done. Not only does it take a lot of physical energy to do that, but it takes trust in your mind. There is a mental component to it. You know how they talk about if you believe it, it will happen? There's science behind that. It's not all woo-woo, oh, just believe. No, there's science behind it. There's science to show what happens outside of your body, what that energetic field looks like when you believe something versus when you don't believe it. But there's also science to show you what your body can do when you believe you can do something versus when you believe that you can't do something. Don't judge yourself like I used to all the time. If you don't believe that you want to believe that you can heal, but you're just not sure yet, that's a stage that you have to go through in order to get to the belief, the wholehearted 100% belief. So if you're not there yet, please don't beat yourself up and be like, I really should believe that the body can heal 100%. No, you shouldn't. You should, because you have to, go through the stages of belief. That belief will come when you keep building the library of evidence that it is possible. The way you build the library of evidence that it's possible to heal is you keep doing what you're doing right now. You keep gathering information and using yourself as a guinea pig. You keep going and listening to other inspirational stories out there and letting your mind go, oh, she did it. Okay, it is possible. Oh, she did it too, or he did it too. Oh, it is possible. Once you gather enough information, enough evidence, your brain will eventually flip that switch to, I don't know if it's possible, to, of course it's fucking possible. I see it all the time. But if you're stuck in your bubble, like we all get stuck in, and you're not reaching out and looking for these stories, they're not going to fall in your lap. You have to do the work. The way the energy works, the way the energy of the universe works is when you have an intent to do something, that is also an energy that leaves your body, and like attracts like. So when that energy leaves your body, that energy is matched and returned. So when you set the intent to, I'm going to find more evidence to support that my body can heal, that intention is sent out with an energetic message that is then met answered and sent back to you. And you will start to find that more stories and evidence are going to fall into your path, and you're going to go, holy shit, I didn't know all this stuff was out there. No, until you start looking for it, you're not going to find it. We are so far into the science of the Epstein-Barr virus and healing multiple sclerosis that it won't even be an issue. I'm glad this is being recorded. I swear in 10 years, multiple sclerosis is going to be then what it is to my kids today. My kids never understood, even though I tried to tell them at some points how serious MS was, they never understood it because they never saw the effects in me. They were too young to understand how devastating it was. I tell the story sometimes. If you scroll down far enough in the group, you'll see my post. I took a picture of the wheelchairs that are in Target. You know, when you walk in Target, you got all the carts, and you got a couple wheelchairs over to the side. Well, it's probably 7 or 8 years ago now. Christopher, I can't do that math in my head. He's 22 now, so maybe he was 15 at the time. 15, the most arrogant age there is in little boys, am I right? He walks into Target. We all do. Me, him, and Julie. Julie's 3 years younger than him. He's 15. He's walking in there. He looks over at the wheelchairs. He goes, hey, Ma, bring back memories? And he keeps walking. It took my breath away. It was like a punch in the gut. Because to me, I'm going, yeah, you little shit, I do remember that. That was the most traumatic time of my life. My God. It's nothing to them. It was like, oh, yeah, when Mom used to be in a wheelchair. I asked them today, I'm like, how much do you remember? They're like, we remember Disney World. We remember getting the front of the line in Disney World, which one of my clients just went to Disney World. She's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way anymore. Now you got to apply for some disabled permit to get you in the front of the line. I was like, oh, no, back in the day, 15 years ago, you in a wheelchair, you get to the front of the line. The kids loved it. They remember the races. Trevor would take me along the park with the 2 kids on my lap, and it was raining, so we all had those plastic ponchos on, and we were racing through the park in the wheelchair. Trevor was pushing us, and the kids loved it. There were times when they would scare me, like they would come across, we're not at Disney World now, let's just go like regular life. The kids would come out from behind the door, scare the shit out of me, and laugh so freaking hard. Meanwhile, does anyone else get this? Like right now, if you're in like the throes of the MS symptoms, it used to hurt so bad. When they would scare me, it was like my pins and needles throughout my entire body, head to toe, would go zzz, and I'd get electrocuted all over my body from head to toe. It would take my breath away. I'm like, oh. And they're like, Mom, stop being so dramatic. And I used to say to them, at some points when I lost my temper, I used to be like, your mother has a neurological disease. It's called multiple sclerosis. You can't fucking scare me like that. It hurts. They're like, you're just scared, Mom. It doesn't hurt. They never got it. I think in 5-10 years, MS is going to be then what it is now to my kids. No big deal. Just something to overcome. You got to change the way you eat a little bit and just move on with life. Symptoms just go away. You have no idea how hard it was for me to figure out that my body can heal, believe that it can heal, and then be my own guinea pig for 10 years, which is why I do what I do here. Because the suffering is unnecessary. We have a virus. You kill the virus, the symptoms go away. You remove the pathogens, the symptoms go away. They're not going to go away 100% though until you address the pathogens that are in your mind. And I know that sounds hokey, but this is actually the way it goes. And again, there's science to back this up. You have to get rid of the pathogens that are in your mind. So Epstein-Barr, 1, you come in contact with it, you don't know you have it, it's getting a lay of the land in your body. 2, you get diagnosed with mono, or you don't, but you have mono. You might have something that you don't even realize is mono because it's a very mild strain. You might think you have allergies or a cold. Stage 3, it leaves your bloodstream because it's sex in there. Your immune system is in there trying to kill it. Leaves your bloodstream and it goes to an organ. Whatever organ it decides to live in, based on the food source in that organ, it's going to give you a collection of symptoms that's going to take you to a neurologist, and they're going to diagnose you with an autoimmune disease because all they can see is that your immune system looks like it's attacking myelin when it's not. It's attacking a virus that's feeding off of the heavy metals that are on your myelin. Now, why do we go gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free? Let me finish. Oh my God. Stage 4. Stage 4 of the virus, the last stage, the virus ultimately wants to ride all of your nerves and visit all of your organs because it realizes that there are different food sources in all of the organs. So it wants to travel freely throughout your body. And because if we're feeding it, because we don't know that it's in there, it's so strong, it produces this smoke screen that confuses the immune system. The immune system can't really get to it or see it because of that smoke screen. Like an octopus that inks to get away from its predators, the Epstein-Barr virus is one of the only viruses that does this. It puts out a smoke screen and confuses the shit out of your immune system, which is where your fatigue is coming from, because your immune system is constantly like, I see you, fucker, I know you're there, and it's constantly on the attack but can't get to it. That's where the fatigue is coming from. So stage 4, your Epstein-Barr virus wants to ride your entire nervous system to travel all throughout your body. And so it does. And that's when you get diagnosed with fibromyalgia. That's stage 4 of the Epstein-Barr virus. That's why it's very common for anyone with an autoimmune disease to later on get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is also considered an autoimmune disease because they don't understand why the immune system is attacking the nervous system. Well, now we do, because the Epstein-Barr virus is riding the nervous system, because that is the freeway to all of your organs. I want you to understand, I talk about the heavy metals when I do this speech. The gluten, the dairy, and the eggs are getting into your system and being digested. Most of us have leaky gut. Most of the food particles, not most of, but a lot of the food particles that are getting partially digested are getting in through the lining of the gut, which is supposed to be like this. But when you have leaky gut, it's more like this. Because of the shitty diets that we're on, the high sugar, the high yeast, it's breaking down the cell walls. And that's how the food particles are getting through these holes. This is what it's supposed to be, nice and tight. So that's why eating gluten, dairy, and eggs, you're going to feed the virus. That is another food source. Gluten, dairy, eggs, heavy metals. Heavy metals, you really can help. You can if you make sure you don't use the detergents, make sure you're not smelling chemicals. Think about it this way. If you can smell it, the Epstein-Barr virus can eat it. You can smell it, that you're feeding the virus. The virus can eat it. So those candles, those scented candles, oh, they're the worst apparently. You smell them, right? You're like, oh, that smells so good. But guess what? The virus is going, oh, that tastes so good. Because those are chemicals. They are molecules that are wrapped in wax. The wax has the chemical in it. That's what you're smelling. That's what's going in your nose, into your system, and the virus is going, oh, thank you, this tastes delicious, and it's feeding it even more. So chemicals, heavy metals, they're feeding the virus. I don't want you to freak out and be like, all right, because this is what I did. I freaked out. I'm like, all right, absolutely no candles, no nail polish, no makeup, no hair mousse. Everything's got chemicals in it. I'm not even going to wear jewelry because I don't want the metal touching my skin. I went nuts for about 2 years. And you know what? You don't have to. I did it, so you don't have to. The reason why you don't have to is because we have all of these manufacturing cleaning agents inside of our body. We have an operation system dedicated, more than one operation system dedicated to cleaning out our bodies. We have the excretory system, we have the lymphatic system. We have so many things that clean out the body that when you come in contact with chemicals and heavy metals, your body goes, this is not supposed to be here, and it gets it out. The reason why we have to go crazy in the beginning is because our bodies, yes, can handle all the crap that's coming at us and it can filter it out. But because we've never been taught how to keep our bodies working efficiently, it got gunked up. The older you get, the gunkier your system is. That's why they say healing takes longer the older you are, because it's been more years of gunk accumulating in your liver that's going to take a little bit to clean out, but it is not going to take a decade. I don't know how long it's going to take, but if you understand that the more cautious or efficient, better word, efficient you are at cleaning out your liver, the faster you're going to heal. So there's a couple pieces to healing MS symptoms. You're going to clean out your body. You're going to, of the Epstein-Barr virus, while you stop feeding the virus. So you're stopping it from growing, because it's now in an environment where it gets no food. You're all alkaline and healthy on the inside, and the virus is like, this place sucks. I'm dying. This is awful. As the virus begins to weaken before it dies, guess what? It can't produce that smoke screen because the fucker's weak now. So if it can't produce that smoke screen, guess what? Your immune system goes, oh, where's your smoke screen, fucker? I can see you. And it attacks and it kills. So we use the immune system, that very strong, healthy immune system that has been protecting you from the day you were born. There's nothing wrong with your immune system. It has been protecting you and being gaslit by the doctors, and we've been shaming our immune system, the poor thing, that has been protecting us. If your immune system could talk to you, it'd be like, listen, fucker, I'm still going to protect you, but I'm pissed off at you because I've been protecting you for years, and you've been believing that I've been attacking you. I've never attacked you. I've always protected you. That's what I believe my immune system would say to me back in the day. All right, so your body's always going to heal as long as we clean out the body of the shit that's been accumulating for years. We stop feeding the viruses, the pathogens, the Epstein-Barr virus and all the other shit that's in there. We clean that out, and then we focus on bringing in all of the good things and maintaining. Just like when you begin to work out, it's such a great analogy that I'm going to use it all the time now. When you begin to work out, you start off slowly. You're lifting little tiny weights to build the muscle, and even those little tiny weights are going to make you sore, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one. You're lifting 5-pound weights and you're like, Jesus Christ, the next day you're so sore. And you're like, it was only 5 pounds. You're going to get sore, you're going to recover, and then you're going to start again. This is what I keep telling myself. I'm going to keep going with the working out. But you're going to get sore, and then you're going to recover, and then you're going to do it again, and you're going to get more sore, and then you're going to recover, and then you're going to do it again. So doesn't that sound like the healing process? When you begin to heal, let's start down here. When you begin to heal, you're here, you've got your baseline, right? All of a sudden, you're cleaning out your body. Your body's getting even more tired because it's got to clean out. Then you start to back up. This is the peaks and valleys that I talk about. Then you go back and you're like, oh, I'm healing. All right, this feels good. Let's do it again. And you go back into that valley and you're like, oh, nope, too much, back off. You back off the stuff that you're doing, and then you come up into that peak. This is why you can't go too fast, too hard, too fast, cleaning out that virus. I know your personality out there is like balls to the wall. Now that I know it's a virus, I'm going to fucking kill it tomorrow. Okay, great, awesome. But the people who go slow on this protocol are the people who heal the fastest. I know that sounds insane, but it's the opposite of what we've been taught. We've been taught, schedule a goal, put out a goal, reach that goal, don't stop working until you're harder, work, harder. That's not how the body works. The body is part of nature. Nature never acts in haste. Nature does everything in a very efficient, calm, peaceful way. And that's exactly what your body does. It's very efficient. It doesn't like when you go too far, too fast, because it's going to tell you, I can't do this, I can't handle this, this is not the way healing is supposed to happen, and you're going to feel like shit. And then you're going to think that you're not healing because, oh no, I'm getting worse. You're not getting worse. You're just healing too quickly. And this is what healing too quickly feels like. Are you ever too old to heal? No, because if you're alive, you're always going to heal. And the proof is, I don't care if you're 95 years old, give yourself a paper cut and watch it heal. To the body, did you guys hear that? That was my stomach constructing. So loud. To the body, a paper cut isn't any more difficult to heal than all of your symptoms. It might take more time, but there's no difficulty level. It's just stuff that needs to get done. We just need to give our body what it needs to heal itself, because it's always trying to heal you. It's just that you're not always giving it the tools that it needs to heal what you need it to heal. It's kind of like hiring a contractor or a builder, a carpenter. Let's say a carpenter. You're hired a carpenter and you want a toy chest built. And you go, listen, I know you can do it. I've seen your work. I want you to build me a toy chest. He's like, great, I need some hammer and wood. And you go, no, I'm not going to give you any hammers, no wood, no nails. He's like, how do you expect me to do this? Well, you're a carpenter. You're supposed to be able to know how to do that. That's kind of like what we're telling our bodies. We're like, you need to heal. You're human. Everyone says you can heal. Now I want you to do it, but I'm going to feed you all the things that feed the pathogens that are making you sick. I'm not going to drink the water every day, and I'm not going to help you get that virus out. You're on your own. Your body's like, how am I supposed to do this? I'm working for you and you're not giving me what I need. Schedule a consultation with me. Let's talk, because it does not take that long. You will begin to feel the effects right away. So I want to talk to you about what's left. What's the last parts that's left? Because maybe it's not the physical. Maybe it's the emotional. The Live at 5s are going to be here every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to take you through the entire protocol, the mental part of it, the physical part of it, and it's going to be an hour every week. No matter where you're coming into this Live at 5, no matter where you're starting, just keep showing up. Grasp a piece of the information, marinate on it, grasp another piece, and just keep gathering your evidence, and it will all come together. If you're needing any help bringing it all together and you have some questions, free consultations at mindingyoursoul.com.